This conference will now be recorded.
Okay, good morning everyone. And I know some of you have joined from Europe, and maybe it is very good morning, maybe very early in the morning, but thanks for joining. So actually the protocol that we'll follow, this is a long course because it might take close to 50 hours to complete this course. So what I will do is that I will be recording these GTM sessions, and then we'll upload into a cloud folder and then make it accessible for you. In case you miss few lectures, not to miss the continuity, that will be helpful. So I'll take care of that. And through these sessions, please ensure that your mics are muted. And whenever you have a question in your mind, please unmute your mic and ask questions. And please feel free to ask questions. And please feel free to ask questions anytime. And also there is a chat window you can write there. Sometimes what happens is that because I'm putting it in the full screen mode, I'm not really concentrating on the chat window. But again, I told one of my colleagues in this call to constantly look at it and then prompt me if there are any questions. So let us make it a very two-way conversation. So anyway, let's get going with the course. So the ISTQB Advanced Test Manager Certification course we'll do on alternate days. So we'll do on Monday, Wednesday, Monday, Thursday, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Again, I'm getting it wrong. But again, the next class for Advanced ISTQB Test Manager course will happen on Saturday. Okay, alternate days starting from Monday we are doing ISTQB. So whoever is attending this course, please keep your calendar and in your mind so that you will not miss because of this confusion. Okay, so because you are showing interest for the ISTQB Advanced Test Manager Certification course, I'm assuming that most of you have already acquired ISTQB Foundation level certificate, because if you want to really write the exam, and if that is your goal to acquire Advanced Test Manager Certification course certificate, then the mandatory thing is that you must be ISTQB Foundation level certified. Some of you, if you are not, keep that in mind. So again, this course can be learned with two purposes in your mind. One purpose is, okay, I'm already working as a test engineer for several years, and my career goal is to lead teams and do a little bit higher level management kind of work in the testing space. Then this course can be learned. Then another purpose, second purpose is that while I learn, I also want to write this exam and also pass that exam, so that within my company where I am working, my chances of career growth will be better. So with both purposes, you can join the course. And I know some of you may not have gone through ISTQB Foundation, but still, never mind. Whenever you want to write the exam, then first you have to clear ISTQB Foundation, and then only you'll have to take this exam. And then the ISTQB organization looks for some numbers of years of experience in testing. Without experience anyway, you cannot even write this exam and pass the exam. That's a very complex exam. So anyway, with that a little bit of introduction, this course will follow the ISTQB Advanced Test Manager syllabus fully. And as I told you, the syllabus of ISTQB Advanced Test Manager was drafted in 2012. Since then, there is no revision of the syllabus, but a lot of critiques are there especially people coming from agile world, they criticize this syllabus. They tell it's very oldish. They didn't really bother about the new things that are happening in testing as we speak now. That is one criticism, and it is not an invalid criticism. But when we really look at the ISTQB test manager syllabus, it actually generalizes a lot of management activities, management thinking around testing. So whether we are working in a little bit oldish waterfall models or the new agile DevOps models, but still the management thinking, the level of management thinking needed to lead test teams globally, I think this syllabus, according to me, is a good syllabus to master. And if you master this syllabus, definitely your thinking capability will improve, your horizon of thinking will improve, and then you will be in a position to take up complex senior level positions in your companies or other companies. Like if you look at a very complex enterprise IT organization, for example, a large global bank, if you want to really manage testing at a large bank level, your intellectual capability around testing and test management should be really good. Otherwise, you will not be able to grow into those roles. Or imagine you want to play a little bit senior test leadership role in a large, complex software product company, which has been established for a while, and they have many products, many technologies, using many software engineering approaches. Then to play a leadership role, to provide leadership in testing, you have to enlarge your thinking. So there also you'll be needing that. Or if you want to be a senior person in a services or consulting organizations around testing, then also you have to increase and enlarge your horizon about the body of knowledge that need to be mastered. So as a senior person, after going through the syllabus, though a lot of criticism is there about this syllabus, I think if this syllabus is looked at very carefully and you learn that body of knowledge, then you will get more matured take up senior management and leadership positions in testing. There is no doubt about it in my mind. Yes, the syllabus is a little difficult to read. The language, the way it is expressed, we feel very bored as soon as we start reading the syllabus. But anyway, I took that headache of reading it carefully and created this course. So that burden will not be transferred to you. But still, my recommendation to all of you who are going to appear for the exam, if that is the goal for you also, that hey, after learning this, let me write the exam and then also pass this exam, then I want you to go through this course very, very carefully, because I will not leave any simple single syllabus element. Also, I will cover everything, and I will go into each question the way ISTQB Advanced Test Manager, the question paper asks the questions, and then I'll make this whole content also interesting for you, making relevant to your work scope at this moment. So we'll do that. But those who are aspiring to acquire ISTQB Advanced Test Manager certification, my recommendation will be to go through the syllabus document again and again and again, because that will help you to pass the exam as well. So with that broad introduction, so today what we will do is that we will spend close to an hour, 60 minutes. So what I will do first is that I will take you through the ISTQB Advanced Test Manager syllabus and the expectations from test managers from ISTQB syllabus point of view. I'll explain that, because you need to understand the expectations from anyone who wants to claim their advanced test managers, and then how many chapters and what is covered in those chapters, how the examination system works. Very briefly, I will talk about it. Then we will get into the first chapter and start working on the syllabus now. Okay, so again, please ask questions anytime. Interrupt me, absolutely no problem. Only when you are not asking questions, please mute your mics. Okay, so course introduction. As I told you, ISTQB has come up with a very high level business outcomes that they are expecting out of a certified advanced level test managers. So the expectations are very high level because as I told you, the complexities involved in organizing, managing, controlling, testing in large enterprise IT organizations, large scale consulting services companies are a very complex established software product companies. It is very complex, and those who want to lead larger teams and provide leadership to testing inside the organization, they need to exhibit a lot of intellectual high level management and leadership capabilities. That's what ISTQB, before writing the syllabus, they set some objectives. I want to share those objectives or business outcomes out of a certified test manager. So the first one is an ISTQB test manager, advanced level test manager, must be able to manage a testing project by implementing the mission, goals, and testing processes established for the testing organization. So you have to, this particular goal is high level goal, because if you are, let's say you are leading a management position in Bank of America, Bank of America will have very complex IT organization, and they will be dealing with some legacy applications, they will be doing with mobile apps, they will be leading with some digital transformation projects, but everything belongs to one big technology stack, and you are positioned as a test manager there. Then you have to understand the overall mission of that whole bank around quality and testing, and take those goals, objectives into your day-to-day work and lead teams. So that is why, though sometimes this language looks a little boring to more fashionable agile people, but still, in my opinion, it's very valid. So those of you who are totally involved in the agile every day in and day out, don't get bored with this terminology. They have some meaning. So let us positively look at these objectives. Second one is that an advanced level test manager should be able to organize and lead risk identification and risk analysis sessions, and use the results of such sessions for test estimation, planning, monitoring, and control. This is the most important job of a test manager, and a lot of times testing people as well as test managers have little understanding of how to really take risk into account, and based on that actually perform the tasks in a proportionate manner. So high risk kind of aspects of a software must be tested more thoroughly. Maybe so a lot of effort will have to be allocated, and they have to be monitored and controlled more carefully than others. So risk is a very important thing. A lot of times we undermine that, but then ISTQB told anybody who wants to perfect this syllabus and pass the exam should build good understanding on the risk management and our risk-based testing. Then the third one is create and implement test plans that are consistent with organizational policies and strategies. So a lot of times we think as test leads and test managers, test planning is just writing a document. In fact, I work with a lot of people now, less number of people, but earlier I used to work with hundreds of test managers and test leads. Then I talk to them, hey, when can this test plan be ready? Then they will, by evening I'll make the document, sir, like that they respond. So test plan is not about writing a document by copying and pasting some previous plan. It is not that straightforward and simple issue. Test planning is a thinking activity. keeping in lot of other things into context, and then finally make a plan that using that we can communicate. So that's a very important thing. So we'll spend a lot of time in the syllabus to understand these things, and then continuously, the fourth one is continuously monitor and control the test activities to achieve test project objectives, where establishing the right framework for monitoring and controlling, and also establishing the most relevant metrics and organization to collect and use the metrics intelligently to effectively control projects. All these are very important objectives out of an advanced level test manager. The fifth business outcome ISTQB expects for test managers is assess and report relevant and timely test status to project stakeholders. Okay, so based on where you are working, if you are working in a bank, large bank, your stakeholders are different. If you are working for a large services consulting firm for a customer, you are managing testing, then your stakeholders are different. And then when you are working in a product company, your stakeholders are different. But then this test manager's communication skills and really making others involved in all the things is very, very important outcome. Then identify skills and resource gaps in the test team and participate in sourcing adequate resources. So as a test manager, you will have very serious responsibility around your teams and people. So in the test manager syllabus, enough focus is given on even the people skills, because the testing and the way testing is done in the agile DevOps world dramatically changing. Then we are dealing with test engineers who came from a previous kind of thinking. So the new thinking is needed. So effectively, you have to understand the skills and the new skills required to manage new projects and understand those gaps and taking actions by creating a lot of training programs. And effective people management skills is also very important business outcome. Then identify and plan necessary skills development within their test teams. Then eighth business outcome is actually propose a business case for test activities which outlines the costs and benefits expected. So it's a business management function. Whenever you are as a test manager, you are seeking for a help to start a project. You have to convince, persuade other managers and other senior managers. So it is not through emotional things we cannot persuade people. It has to be a proper cost benefit analysis of the things we are taking. So those skills are very important for advanced level test managers. So those things also will be covered as part of the syllabus. And the ninth business outcome expected out of an advanced level test manager is to ensure proper communication within the test team and with other project stakeholders. So the 10th one is participate in test process improvement initiatives. So basically, yes, we are managers, we are doing testing, we are doing very well, but always the processes have to be continuously improved. There are a lot of frameworks like test maturity model, test process improvement model. There is something called CTP, there is something called STEP, and there is a way to do a transformation work inside the company. So we have to focus on those aspects as well as test managers. So these are the expectations from an advanced level certified test manager from the point of view of ISTQB organization. And these are very high expectations. So that's why this syllabus will be tough. This exam will be tough. But if you perfect and develop that knowledge, you will be in a position to deal with more complex issues as test managers in any kind of context. That's why it is worthwhile to learn. So from a syllabus point of view, the syllabus has been organized into 7 chapters. The first chapter will focus on the testing process. The second chapter, actually the most heart of the content, is the test management chapter. Then we also have to cover reviews. In fact, in the ISTQB foundation level, there is a section called static testing, where we learned reviews as a static testing techniques. But here the scope of reviews are different. They are more management reviews and audit and how to improve review process kind of things. Then the fourth chapter will focus on defect management. So SDLC and defect life cycle, those are all okay. They're engineering processes, but from a management point of view, as you are observing a lot of defects and understanding the defect information, how do I make my organization move towards defect prevention rather than defect detection? That kind of management is the focus of the fourth chapter. The fifth chapter, as I told you, improving the test process, where you have to understand some of these test process improvement models and be able to apply inside your teams and organizations to keep on and continuously improving test process. And the sixth chapter focuses on test tool and automation. Again, the focus is not to learn a particular tool and technically be good at the tool. It is more of how do I evaluate and select the right tools for the right teams. Because if you look at the whole agile DevOps has dramatically changed the way we are doing testing and also the way we are approaching test automation. The record playback GUI test tools to now much more API based testing, unit testing, and continuous testing. That is what we are talking a lot these days. Shifting left the test automation, shifting left the capacity and performance testing. All these are very important aspects for test managers. So this chapter doesn't really talk about a specific test tool, but what should be the general thinking of a good test manager about tools and tool life cycles and how to implement them to get benefit out of these tools. That is the focus of this chapter. And the final chapter is on people skills, which is also very, very important. So within these 7 chapters, like in the testing process, I will not go into details. Anyway, we'll cover every aspect that is outlined here in a very, very fine detail. We will review actually basically the fundamental test process the way we learned in ISTQB Foundation, but with a different level of detail that is needed for a test manager. Then test management, as I told you, is a very important chapter and consumes most of our time in this course. It will focus on risk-based testing, the test documentation, lightweight, heavyweight, where to use what kind of things. And then as managers, we have to do very effective test estimation, and to be able to monitor testing projects, we have to establish right kind of test metrics. Then, as I told you, to persuade for new projects in the organization, how do we understand the business value of testing? How do we create those business cases and how do we present them? These are all very important. And also the next one is distributed, outsourced, in-source testing. Because as a test manager, if you are working in a Wells Fargo kind of situation, maybe you are organizing testing for your bank, but also you are working with a vendor. So understand those issues. Or if you are working for an Accenture and working for a vendor like Bank of America, then you have to understand those complexities. So those are, but again, it's not that important, but it is covered in the thing. And then managing the application of industry standards. Again, sitting in a small thing, doing an agile project at the moment, you may not understand the importance of the issues like managing application of industry standards, but a test manager will have to work with a healthcare industry, a financial regulatory industry, multiple things. So how do I understand those industry standards and apply them into my test strategies, test plans, and organize the teams around to achieve those standards? These are all important test management aspects which will be covered in the second chapter. And the third chapter, as I told you, it is not around static testing. It is about how do we do as a manager, conduct management reviews, audits within your team, within your organization. Then how do I set up some metrics for reviews so that people are doing really good reviews across the organization? And how do we use all this information to manage effectively the formal reviews that are taking place. Again, in Agile, you may not have all these formal reviews, but project retrospective is a kind of review. It's a post-mortem review, and daily scrum meetings are reviews, informal sprint plannings are reviews. So Agile, though it doesn't use in a formal manner some of these things, but all these are applicable even for an Agile test manager also. Then the fourth chapter will focus on the defect life cycle, defect report information, and how do we use all that information to assess the project's process or organizational test process and move the test organization from a defect detection kind of mindset to a defect prevention kind of mindset. So that is also simple chapter but important chapter from the test manager's perspective. It will be covered, and also test process improvement, where you will have to learn some of these important test process improvement models like TPI, CMMI, TMM, all these things. So we'll talk about that. And again, test tools, as I told you, it's more on selection, implementation, and creating a right kind of tool life cycles and establishing right kind of metrics for tools and tool-based work. That is the expectation from a manager. So those things will be covered. And the next most important chapter, again, though nowadays generally people are underrating people skills. People management, then you will not get a job. But in my opinion, again, rightly so, ISTQB also did not undermine the importance of people management skills. Ultimately, what matters is actually the people, and test managers will deal with people, and better they actually systematically develop very good people management skills, and then they will be able to inspire, motivate their teams to accomplish greater things. And that is why I will not underrate people skills, and ISTQB also did not underrate people skills, though when I speak to some seniors in today, more fashionable agile managers, they tell that people not that important, let's work, technical is more important. That's not wrong approach, but at least to pass this exam you have to focus on that. So this is the broadly the syllabus that will be covered. Actually, this course, if we teach in a classroom, every day we cover something, the 8 hours, then it can be covered in 5 working days. So it are around 40 hours. But we are doing daily 1 hour. And actually what I will do is that my goal to teach you this course is to learn this body of knowledge with a lot of interest, and even if you don't want to write the exam, your intellectual ability has improved to manage complex testing projects. That is one goal. So those who are not that interested to acquire certification, at least learn this content very well. Now my goal is also to help some of you who want to pass the exam along with learning it. That's why I designed this course in such a way that we will review a lot of sample questions the way they are asked in ISTQB exam. So that is why though it is for 40 hours, might be I will spend 50 hours with you to teach it. That's what I mentioned it to you in my mail earlier. But anyway, we'll go slowly, but I will be the most happiest person if some of you who wanted to write this exam actually pass this exam first attempt. With that goal, I created this course. So we'll go in that way only. Okay, so quickly on the exam system. Anyway, all advanced certifications I have put, but our interest is advanced test manager. So the question paper will have 65 questions. Exam length for English, native English speakers is 180 minutes, but Indians, it will be 225, or any other European, other language people, it will be 225. And the primary reason for that is that these questions are very, very long. Most of the questions will be having 2 pages of a particular scenario or a case study. They will put you into a particular testing context of an organization, and they will ask you to think, hey, you are test manager now. Now, based on your understanding of this case study, now you answer your question based on your understanding of your syllabus. So that is why even to read a question paper without answering will take you at least 60 to 70 minutes. So to answer, the rest of the time is given. So be prepared for that kind of really strong exam. Okay. So as I told you, the candidate's native language is not English language. Then it is increased to 225 minutes, 25% more time is given. And the pass percentage for any ISTQB exam is 65%. Then you will get your certificate. So that is the thing about the exam. And again, I don't want to repeat again about the benefits of benefits. There is a benefit for professionals. You will get, if you acquire certificate, you will get international recognition that, hey, this person is knowing this syllabus. So I can safely deploy this person into a complex test management job. So that kind of recognition you will get from a professional point of view. And also companies like Accenture, like large banks, especially in Europe, America, they are expecting that their consulting services companies actually deploy a lot of certified test managers, certified test analysts, certified test engineers, so that the consistency around testing, the language talk, the communication, everything will be in using same language. That's why a lot of firms who are outsourcing testing, large firms, not the small newer ones, but they are insisting on deployment of certified people. So if you are working for a Infosys or some company, if you are certified, your company will be also happy. In fact, for the certification exam, they may pay, even reimburse the money as well. So that is about the introduction to the course. Feel free to ask questions if I missed out on some things. If anybody has any questions, please let me know. Then we can move forward with starting the chapter 1 and start with the real course now. Any questions on the go on please.
Actually, whether exam will be on offline mode or online mode, or both will be available?
Yeah, so these exams are proctored in India by an organization called Indian Testing Board. So in India, the fees is actually lower than if you want to write it in Europe or America. It's very expensive in those countries. Again, if you go to www.istqb.org, for COVID-19 time, they actually announced a set of dates and online mode of exam because of the lockout things. But otherwise, in Hyderabad, if you want to write the exam in normal times, there are some centers where you can go. It will be online, and you have to, they proctor it within their premises. It's not online at your home. Okay, because people can copy or whatever in your name, somebody else can write. Okay, so some kind of things can be done. So please have a look at the website. They have announced actually for this time, COVID-19 time, how to take care of these exams. Hope I answered your question.
Yeah, thank you.
Anybody else has any questions? And hopefully my screen is visible. Who is speaking, please?
Madhu, one question. Jayashree here, Madhu.
Yeah. Hi, Jayashree.
So actually, actually, I've been working as a test manager since long time. Actually, I'm taking care of big programs as well. But unfortunately, I did not do the certification yet. So till now, actually, I haven't faced any issues when my profile is being considered for shortlisting. So as I don't have the ISTQB advanced test manager certification. So what do you think? Like, is it definitely a value add if I do the certification now? Because whatever syllabus you have given, I'm already doing it since long. But I haven't done the certification. But somehow I feel that I need to do the certification. What is your view?
So yeah, actually, without certification also, if you understood this syllabus and the intent of the syllabus to deal with a lot of complex issues. Right now, you may be in a particular context and managing testing. Tomorrow, you may land in a little bit different complexity and different level of the test management. Then this body of knowledge will always put you in a good place. Okay. Now, without certification also, if you perfect this knowledge, that is also good. So certification only authenticates. Actually, some companies may give value, especially in Europe more. But yes, it is fully up to you. If you think that let me check really my capability, whether I understand all intricacies of this syllabus or not, then you challenge yourself and go to the exam, because this is a non-trivial exam. A lot of experienced test managers, first time they fumble to face this exam. So you can give it a challenge, but it's not mandatory. If you think understanding this syllabus and gaining that knowledge is more important to play more complex roles, that's it. You don't need to unnecessarily break your heads on certification.
Okay, actually, I learned all these things while I practice actually. So because
Yeah,
these many years
that's
I
good.
was working with, yeah.
Yeah.
So, but I want to do certification because it definitely I feel it's an value add for my profile.
Okay, that's good, because anyway, I designed this course from a certification exam point of view also, so it may be useful for you.
Okay, thank you, Madhu. Thank you.
Okay, so then I'll continue. Please keep asking questions. That is always worthwhile for everyone. So now we are having another 25 minutes with us. So we will start the first chapter, that is our testing process. Again, testing process always important, and as ISTQB foundation level certified, we understood the testing process in a particular way, especially that is ISTQB way. Sometimes the same terminology may not be really used in an agile testing process, but the thinking is always needed, whether you do very formal test process or very informal test process. I think ISTQB focused on a particular mindset that is needed to create a process to do very consistent and effective testing. So that is what we learn. So out of our syllabus of lot of elements, we are starting with the first element of the syllabus, the chapter 1, that is testing process. In that, let us learn about the process element called the test planning, monitoring, and control. We'll come to that, but before that, let me quickly introduce you to the test process. If some people are not even ISTQB foundation level certified, I want to bring them to a little bit of that thinking again, and then we'll move forward. So this first part of my first lesson is introduction to test process, and we will start always a topic with a question, because the questions will trigger some thinking in your mind. Actually, they should trigger some thinking in your mind. That's my goal. So let us read this text for the question, and I want you to know how do you think. So what I'm telling is that traditionally testing has been pushed to the end of the software development lifecycle. Okay, so that is what we always know and experienced. Testing is always pushed to the end of the software development lifecycle, even including in agile development method. Lot of times testing, especially the test automation, will only start after at least 2-3 sprints are done. We are not able to really bring a test automation to the day one of software project. So testing, whether in the previous world or today's world, lot of times in lot of organizations is still pushed to the end of the software development life cycle, which leaves little room for organizations to make critical changes, because testing finds defects late, and then you have to spend some time to fix them. Really, it is not adding value to make critical changes early. The modern software engineering methods, such as Agile and DevOps based software engineering, is changing the nature of testing and test management dramatically. And that is true. All of us are working in more Agile and DevOps kind of word, where continuous, everything is a continuous word we use, whether we know or don't know, whether we are applying smartly or not. Everyone is talking about that. Everyone is getting confused about that. So there is no doubt that Agile and coupled with DevOps has actually changed the nature of testing. In fact, there is no explicit testing role now. Okay, but testing is important, but testing role is not. The DevOps talks about continuous testing. It actually it makes a lot of things complex. So a lot of things have changed for testing as well as test management. So my question is, what do you think are the correct statements below about the evolving nature of test management? So test management is also evolving to the changes that are taking place. So I have 4 points below. Some of them are true, some of them false, about the evolving nature of test management. So the first one you have to answer either true or false. QA is not considered a very critical component in DevOps. True or false? QA is not considered a very critical component in DevOps. Is it
False.
true or
False.
it is a false statement? You are right, because actually maybe explicitly they may not talk about a test role, but actually there is a lot of emphasis, focus put on DevOps about testing and continuous testing. In fact, a lot of people know and tell that testing either makes or breaks continuous delivery possible. Okay, so actually testing gained more importance in this newer software engineering models. Keep that in mind. Then the second point I'm talking here is DevOps must aim to involve QA and test management throughout the entire process, making them a facilitator of quality. True or false?
True.
True.
Is true, because in fact most of the Agile, DevOps, modern software engineering models actually put a lot of emphasis on testing and test management, and they expect that actually a lot of things are driven from testing, so that we'll not have last minute issues. Okay, it's a true statement. The third statement I'm making here is that test management enables DevOps teams to better collaborate for faster delivery and agile support. But these benefits also inherently lead to improved quality across projects. You agree or not?
Yeah,
True.
true.
Yeah.
It's true.
Really, in fact, I was working for a large bank 2 years back in the Netherlands. Okay, so actually most of the people who are leading business teams there are all have all come from test management background. Because of the test management background, they know so much about the bank's application stack, which is very old mainframe to some very complex middleware to mobile apps to digital, very complex things. But then testing people only are leading those efforts because they are the most knowledgeable. So that is also a true statement. Then the fourth statement is, it is not important for test managers to consider the different software development life cycles as well as the type of system being tested. You agree with it or not? What I'm telling you is that it is not
It is a false.
important for test managers. It is a false statement. You are right. Because yes, if you are a test manager in a large firm, some teams are still working in waterfall models with some legacy technology based software, and some teams are working the total very mature CI/CD process developing mobile applications, and some things are in the agile but very critical applications using some Java, .NET technology. So everything is different, and as a good test manager you have to understand and contextualize the SDLC model as well as the type of the system being tested. Then only we can actually manage testing projects well. And right now, if you are working in a very less complex single mode project, but as you grow in your career, you will be pushed to a senior position. Then your role will be to manage many teams doing many different things. That is why thinking broadly is always important. So with this in mind, so what I'm really wanted to say from this question is that this modern software engineering did not reduce the value of testing. In fact, testing's value has more emphasized now. So at times we think that Agile has killed testing. In DevOps, there is no role for testing. All those are wrong statements, in my opinion. And anyway, you also agreed with my opinion, it seems like. And that is where actually organizations are also going. So now, with that question and the test process, let us talk in the foundation level syllabus. We talked about test process of organizing process in terms of a set of activities, and in each of the activities we perform a set of tasks. So the high level umbrella activity, we always call it as test planning, monitoring and control, which is very important for the project. And why we are calling it as an umbrella activity, though it happens first in a test process, it doesn't mean that after doing this activity we'll forget about test planning, monitoring and control. In fact, what happens is that it provides the shade to the all the next level of activities that happen after this to complete the process. The next process is test analysis and design, where all of us know we look at the test basis, the information that is available with us about the software under test, and we review it, examine it, understand it very carefully, and then in our mind we will think about something like what I need to test. We always call them as test conditions. And then once we identified those test conditions, we convert them into applying some test case design patterns. We develop test cases in this phase. Then once we have that, we get prepared to execute tests. So we prepare test environment, we make these test cases more concrete by adding test data, and we set up a lot of entry criteria, ensure that the builds come, and then we execute. The test implementation and execution, as we learned in our fundamental foundation level, it is preparing ground for good seamless test execution. We do test implementation, and then when things are ready, we start running those tests and find defects and report them and get them fixed. And then at a particular time, we'll take a pause and look at the exit criteria that we talked about in the test planning time, and we check, okay, now I covered, I wrote this number of tests, I ran this, so many defects have been fixed, now what should I do? Then we evaluate some set of criteria. If we met the criteria, we conduct a project post-mortem or retrospective meeting. We take some lessons learned, some process improvement ideas, and then close the project. In case during our evaluation of exit criteria, we found that we haven't met the exit criteria, we go back and identify more test conditions, develop more test cases, again execute them, then get them fixed, and then again take a pause, check for this criteria, and we go. As long as we have not met this criteria, we iterate, and then we stop the project. So again, this picture and the language may not be used in Agile, but as a tester, even in Agile project, in your mind, all these things have to happen. If they happen, then only you will become a good testing practitioner. So these processes, activities, don't need to be thought about like they happen one after the other. It is not. If it is a lot of time and waterfall, yes, you do it one after another. But if you are working in a short kind of time, in a time pressure situation, a lot of these things happen concurrently in your mind. You will not make tens of pages of documents. It will be on the back of a small sheet. You write it and then go and do a lot of parallel things of thinking of design, trying some new tests, all that you will do. But fundamentally, as a good test engineer, you have to think using this process. That is what really ISTQB envisaged when we talked about the fundamental test process. So a lot of times, the more fashionable, agile people, they tell who follows this. But in my opinion, actually every engineer, whether explicitly they say or don't say, a good engineer in his or her mind will, all these things should take place. Then only they can do better quality testing, in my opinion. Okay, so what in advanced level they did is that in the syllabus for all advanced certifications. So the syllabus now talks little differently. If you are a test manager, more emphasis on different topics and at a different level of thinking, we have to think about the process. So fundamentally, in the advanced level, they have made this test process elements as more granular level. They divided test analysis as one task activity, test design as one, implementation as another one, execution as another one, then evaluating exit criteria and reporting. If things are all working, close the testing activity by conducting a post-mortem, or if you haven't met, you go and keep doing. And out of this, what is really from a test manager, the most important concerns for test manager from this process is understanding in depth test planning, monitoring and control, and evaluating exit criteria and reporting, and test closure activities. These are the very important concerns of a test manager, and test managers will lead teams of test analysts and test engineers who perform the other tasks: test analysis, test design, test implementation, test execution. In a sense, a test manager guides his or her team to do those activities listed in the blue section. That is why you need to know them so that you are able to guide. But your concern in this whole process to really understand and do and contextualize for a simple situation to the most complex situation, the tasks related to test planning, monitoring and control, and evaluation of exit criteria and reporting to stakeholders, and test closure activities. So with this in mind, again, these things will happen either sequentially or concurrent. You can apply them in any software engineering context. Okay. So before I close on this introduction to test process, let us check your understanding a little bit of your fundamental test process knowledge. So what I have here is some tasks that happen in a typical testing project in a particular sequence. I want you to organize them into the, bring them to the left where they will happen in the order of occurrence. Means in the process, which one will happen first should come to one, and then it has to follow that. So which one will you put as the number one? Deciding what are required.
Creating test procedures.
Second point.
Establishing exit criteria.
Establishing establishing exit criteria is right, because this task will happen at the time of test planning, and in our fundamental test process, establishing exit criteria happens first. So those who said creating test procedures, you are wrong. Please go and think once about the fundamental test process. So okay, fine. Now which goes next?
Creating test procedures.
Yes, now this happens during the step of analysis, design and implementation. Out of these three steps, anywhere many things will be done, but I have taken only creating test procedures. So logically that is our, in this context, the second step. So we create a set of test procedures. Then what happens?
Executing tests.
Deciding if
we'll execute tests. Then what
Decide
happens?
if more tests. Decide if more tests are required.
No.
Reporting
Unexpected results.
yeah, reporting unexpected.
Yes. So as a result of executing tests, we will report defects and get them fixed, and then we take a pause and check for our criteria, evaluate it, and then decide if more tests are required. So that is the kind of order of occurrence of this task within a process, just to re-establish your thinking, because now when you are coming into ISTQB syllabus, better start using the words, thinking in that way. It will help us to make it easy. Okay, so a quick recap from the test process thing is that testing is an important part of software development, and like development, testing is not a single process or an activity, but a set of processes and activities. So keep that in mind. And these processes and activities have to be contextualized to various SDLC models. There are many different ways of structuring the development and testing process based on the SDLC models. So test managers should keep that in mind. And the activities of test planning, monitoring and control, and evaluating exit criteria and reporting and test closure are all of particular concern for the test manager. So important concerns for test managers are planning, monitoring and control, evaluating exit criteria and reporting, and then test closure. These are the three out of the process. They are more important for the test managers. So far clear?
Yes.
Okay. Yes. With that in mind, let us actually go to the advanced level syllabus from a test planning point of view. So again, I asked all of you to read the ISTQB Advanced Test Manager syllabus. So every syllabus element has an associated learning objective. So in my course, I'm always bringing that to you so that at what level of detail you must understand this concept, it will be telling you. That's why first let us start with that. So actually it will take another 10 minutes. After this we'll stop and reconnect back on Saturday. So let us do this, establishing the planning, test planning learning objectives from the advanced test manager certification point of view. Okay, so always to establish a learning objective, what I will do is that I will take a sample question from an ISTQB advanced test manager exam. So whatever this question here I am putting, it is actually a question from sample ISTQB exam. Okay, so most of the questions in ISTQB advanced test manager certification exam will be, as I told you, long scenario based exams. You have to study at least 2 pages of a case, then another page of questions to answer. Again, the little bit uniqueness in this exam, unlike your foundation level, is that all questions are not marked in the same way. There are questions which will be given 3 marks, some questions will have 2 marks, some questions will have 1 mark. So typically the 1 mark questions will be simpler ones. Some questions will be asked that way also, but a lot of questions will be of 2 and 3 marks, and these are all scenario based questions. So here is to establish the learning objective for our test planning topic. I've taken a question. So this will give you a little bit of hint on the exam, how it will happen, how you should prepare. So here is a scenario. So you have to position yourself as the test manager working on a project developing a tourist information mobile application. So that is the scenario. You have to position yourself. Then the project has been happening, but the project recently switched to an agile process. Previously they were doing maybe fragile manner, but now they may be working in agile manner, and also they started using so-called test-driven development, TDD we call. A lot of agile teams do that. Okay, so where there is a lot of focus on unit testing actually done prior to coding. So that is what really test-driven development. So that you are the test manager of the team building a mobile app for tourist information, and now recently they are going into agile with TDD approach. So again, the context is each development cycle lasts 15 days. So they are using 3-week sprint. Okay, 15-day sprint with daily builds beginning at day 7. So till day 7, they will not build. All developers are coding. They may be working in the branches, but first they will actually check into a master and make a build and make it available for the rest of the teams on day 7, meaning the test teams can start working on the build on the master branch from day 7. After day 10, no new features are allowed to be added. So day 7 to 10, still coding happens, but daily builds will come. But after 10th, they tell, hey, code freeze now. We'll not do anything about features. Now any bugs come, improvements come, we'll only refactor that code, but no more new code. Okay, after the day 10. That is how they are working, because as a test manager, you have to understand the context, because the test planning is always related to a context in which you are planning activities. So that is what is very important for an advanced test manager. The development team is composed of very experienced team members. Agile teams are all full of capability. All good team members are there, and they are proud. Any good team will be proud. But only problem with a proud team is that they are not tolerant of the testing team. That we have been seeing, at least from my last 25 years of testing career, we face that problem. We don't need to too much worry about that. So that is the context up till now. Now we are talking. In fact, this is a big context in the sample exam, but I reduced it for you. Otherwise, it will take a lot of time. So they will, to confuse you, they will really write 2-3 pages of information. So be willing and be ready to read the information and put it in your mind like a good test manager. So the requirements are written down as a coarse-grained user stories. They are not very well written, well detailed kind of written user stories, but they are very high level coarse kind of user stories. A typical example of user story is there is a US 0330, that is a unique identifier for the user story, and what it tells it, search nearest matching hotel. That is the name of the user story, and within that story they are very briefly telling is that as a casual user at an unfamiliar location using this application, I want to get information on the nearest hotel best matching my financial and comfort profile. So it is it's a mobile app. I'm standing somewhere in the US, California, first time, and stranded. I open my application. Already I registered in this application, so it knows my financial and other comfort profiles. It has captured, and it has some location services. It has a lot of hotel APIs, or through web services. It can get connected to the hotel information system, and then it gives me, prompts me. That is the feature really we are talking. It is a high priority feature. This is how the user stories are defined. Okay, now you are the test manager. Okay, as I told you, the software depends on existing web services. Okay, especially for the third-party services. But at the time of code development and unit testing, the teams cannot test using the real web service. They have to stub it. They have to use the mimic of a web service. So it's not a real testing, but that is how development completes their unit testing, by stubbing these external web services. Unit testing is done by developers. It's a TDD approach. So unit testing is done by developers, while system and user acceptance testing is the testing team's responsibility. Okay, so that is the responsibility of your testing team. Then system test in earlier development cycles was often blocked due to severe failures of newly developed features. Previous experience tells that whenever testers started doing system testing, they were getting a lot of block kind of situations because of severe failures in the newly developed features. Mean there is some issue in the development. Okay, so analysis of previous work shows that many of these failures could have been found during unit tests. So developers themselves could have found and fixed this, but they leaked to the system test. Also, analysis of issues found during production of the previous release shows that 30% of performance problems were due to unreliable web services delivered by third-party suppliers. So most of the production problems are related to the performance of this third-party web services, unreliable web services. This is your context. So you are the test manager. So this will be a typical question. And before the question, actually, they will give you, and I actually reduced it for you to make it easy, but to give a good hint about the exam, this will be at least written in 1.5 pages. So you have to read, memorize, contextualize, think like a good advanced test manager, and then you have to start answering the questions. Again, the case is still going on. So for this particular sprint, the primary test objectives are to mitigate the perceived performance risks and to increase the confidence that no failures of high severity will occur in user stories with priority greater than or equal to high. So for this particular sprint, the goals they have put, the test objective has been put is that all performance risks have to be mitigated and they have to increase the confidence that especially the features with priority greater than or equal to high, no severe bugs will happen. That kind of thing, a test plan has to be, or test activities or test work products will have to be developed by a test manager. So test manager has to understand this context and work and make it a successful. Moreover, the upper management told this time, hey, this fighting between developers and testers is no longer very productive. Better both of you work closely. Testers and developers have to work with a closer cooperation. This is what higher level management has told us. This is what your context, this is what your case study, and you are the test manager. Now what you have to do is that you have to answer this question. Okay, so what is this question? Using the scenario, whatever I explained to you, and this is a typical ISTQB ATM certification exam question. That is why carefully look at it. Using this scenario, out of 7 below, which 3 of the following test activities and or work products, which activities you will perform, or which work products, some documents or some reviews, whatever, those work products you will think will best achieve the test objectives for this context. A test objective is not a generalized test objective that any situation I will use that. No, you have to understand the context. You are a good test manager, and now for this sprint, to make it in an improved manner, you have to think about a set of activities relevant to this, and also think of some work products that are appropriate for this situation. So now you have to answer this question. Out of the 7, only 3 are the right answers, other 4 are wrong answers. So let us go one by one. The first one is performance tests for user stories with priority equal to very high, done by developers during unit test before day number 10. Do you recommend this activity? Yes or no? Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So somebody
Yes,
told
yes.
no, somebody said yes, but let us think about it, because these are the questions, very tricky questions. Actually, there is no wrong answer in that sense, but is it related to my context? So what it is really telling is that performance test, I will ask performance test to be done by developers. But the problem during development, the performance issues are taking place because of these third-party web services and the unreliability is there. And to conduct their unit testing, they are stopping them. So Even if I ask them to do that activity, they will not be in a position to do that activity. They will be more focusing. Their responsibility is more on unit testing, and the test team's responsibility is more on the system test and user acceptance test. And at the system test, these web services are available, but during development they are stopping. So that is why the most appropriate, this may not be the highly recommended activity which is practical in this context. That is why it is
Day number 2. Yeah.
Correct. Okay, let's move to the second one. Metrics suite for unit testing defined by and reported to test management at day 7. Will you recommend this activity?
True.
Yes or no?
Yes.
Okay, anybody know?
Because
I
unit
think it's
testing.
no.
What is that? Anybody know?
Yeah,
Not
it is
decided.
no.
Okay, not decided. That is what is the issue in the ISTQB exam. Actually, it's a pretty valid thing. But let us understand the context again.
Yeah.
These people are using agile model, using a test-driven development. In agile process itself, there is no one reports to another person. This reporting, the relationship that testing demands, this metric suite by day 7, you must give those kind of culture itself doesn't exist in an agile context. So nobody reports to no one. That is the reality. So I cannot really recommend this activity as a test manager. So it is no. So why I am telling these things is that everything seems like a valid testing activity as a test manager, but planning is a very complex activity. Planning has to be a very thoughtful activity, contextualizing the project situation at that time, and what are the risks at that time, what are the expectations at that time, what are the objectives at that time. That's why it looks little tricky. Even if it is tricky right now, don't worry. As we progress through this course, as we start using the language again and again, ISTQB language, you will get tuned to this and start answering right way. So don't worry. The third one, automated performance testing of user stories with priority greater than or equal to high, done by testers during system test with test execution starting on day 10. Is it a worthwhile recommendation or not? It is
Yes.
absolutely
Yes.
expected given the situation, because the risks are around performance, and day 10 the thing is coming. And again, management has told high and very high user stories, we don't want very critical bugs to happen in production. And previous thing is telling that performance issues are the real issues. So this is a very valid test management activity. A test manager based on this context will take. The fourth one is integration test level plan defined by test manager before each development life cycle and handed over to developers on day 10. Will you recommend this activity?
No.
In fact,
Yes.
this integration plan and all, they don't happen in, so far the context is developers are developing and parallelly unit testing, then making the build available, then testing people are coming and doing system test and user acceptance test and pushing into production. That is what is happening. So this artifact no need to be created. It is not a good step. Then fifth one, joint informal reviews of unit tests done by developers and testers before day 10. Will you recommend it or not?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yes, this is a very important thing. In Agile, we focus more on informal review. So in Agile, sometimes we tell that we don't do anyone. No, Agile actually really puts a lot of emphasis on very quick, early and informal reviews to prevent problems. That is the greatness and goodness of Agile. So because the context says that a lot of defects that have leaked to system test previously could have been found by developers during their unit testing. There is something going wrong in the unit test where these are getting leaked. So better thing is that early involve with developers, do little bit of informal reviews, how, what unit tests they are doing and why some things are leaking, and quickly improve that process so that developers take that precaution. So this is a much more worthwhile test activity as a test manager you should incorporate in the test plan for the at least this sprint. The third one is identification of external web services and enforcement of service level agreements, SLAs, with service provider. Whoever is providing this third party web services is done by project management and test management. So go talk to them and define and enforce some SLAs so that the external dependencies are managed. Will you recommend this step activity in your test plan or not?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, this is a must thing because most of the production defects are occurring because of the unreliable third-party web services which are causing serious performance problems. So this is the third important thing you have to do. The last one is approval of the detailed design specification by inspections done by the test team before day 7 when the daily build begins. Is it a practical step or not?
No.
No, because they are using TDD, they are using Agile. They will not make detailed test designs. Even if you tell that I will shoot you if you don't do test design, they will tell shoot us, but we will not do it. That's why even as a test manager, you tell that it cannot be done. So it is not a proper activity. So this is a sample question to establish the learning objective for test planning. I just pulled it and put it for you. So just also to give you a hint about what will be the nature of exam and questions and how should we start thinking to really crack this exam and also build superior knowledge as test managers. So in fact, I wanted to cover more part of the syllabus, but I will close it after this, and Sunday we'll continue from where we have left. So just recap of the learning objective. As test managers, we must analyze the testing needs for a system in order to plan test activities and work products that will achieve the test objects. So contextualizing the project context and then understand the test objectives in a very clear manner and then use that context to plan your test activities is very important skill for a test manager. And ISTQB examination checks for that skill in you. So get prepared to have that skill. So we at this time, I want to stop and check if you have any questions. I want to answer.
Yeah, will it be shared somewhere? Will it be shared somewhere, this document, to further reference?
This document will not be shared, but this video as till now will be put on a public folder in your Gmail. Whoever has given my Gmail yesterday also for the machine learning course I put already.
Okay, it will be shared on same channel.
I'm only sharing the people who have sent me a Gmail because that will be very easy for me. In fact, my teaching assistant is my daughter, Shivani Ronanki, and she is actually at the end of this thing, she's closing the recording and then uploading the file somewhere and then actually giving me that link, and then I'm replying all to that email. So whoever wants to get all these things and who have not yet communicated on my Gmail, I have to save your Gmail ID and then I'll keep posting it. Okay, so that is what I will do. Any other questions? Yeah.
When is the
any other questions?
Can you share the Gmail IDs here in the chat?
No, please write to me at Madhu. Do you know my Gmail ID?
No, can
I'll
you please
write
share?
the chat my Gmail ID. Yeah, I'll just write my Gmail ID in the chat. You please write to that. Okay.
When is the next session?
So my email ID I shared with you, MADHUMURTY There will be no H. Keep that in mind. RONANKI. So my full name, Madhumurthy Ronanki @gmail.com. You can write an email. Those who have not yet written emails, I will, by evening, once my teaching assistant prepares the lesson, I will make it available for you. Okay.
When is the next?
Next session will be 9 a.m. sharp on Saturday. Okay. So thank you very much for your attention, and have a wonderful day. And especially those who join from Europe, sleep for some more time and then start working. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Madhu. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, Madhu.
Thank you, Madhu.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you. Thanks.